My generation had a lot on their plate. Trying to escape mistakes that our parents made. My generation had too much to think. Now it's all about careers and the gym and the kids. We spent our 20s on various sofas. Woke up in our 30s with banging hangovers. Economic outcasts. Listening to Outcast. Trying to make sense of the world with a sound heart. My name's Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. Episode 229.
And I'm Guy Pigden. I'm just doing some tests over here, testing the audio.
Cool. You don't need to tell them that bit. So, welcome along to the show. Big Sunday. We are just about to go to a little shindig that we've been invited to, an exclusive party. Us and probably several hundred other people, I guess. I'm not sure.
We've been invited to an exclusive party involving half of Auckland.
Yeah, in a bar. So we're going to go to that after the show, which is lucky because we're all out of beers. We had no beers in the house for the show this time, so we'll just have to go and have a drink at a bar instead.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. So hopefully I'm just listening to the audio. I'm a little iffy on the audio, so if there's anyone on the live stream, just let us know. It's one person watching and it's me, so I don't think anyone's going to let us know. No one will let us know.
Well,
but
what are you worried about?
Just hearing like a little bit of reverb or something. Just testing it now. Just listening. Just bear with me.
Really need a technical producer for the show, or I need to run it because I can talk and check.
Yeah, it just sounds a bit echoey, but we'll just
have to live with it.
It is what it is.
All right. Well, maybe the listeners can let us know if there's a confirmed issue that we can fix. So, what's going on? All sorts. I went to a 50th birthday party last night because evidently I'm entering into that stage of my life now. Obviously, the 40th birthdays are going to start rolling around pretty soon amongst all of our friends.
God.
And that's, that's beginning to happen now, really, and is going to continue happening for the next couple of years. But last night I was at a 50th, just casually at a 50th. As if that was a thing, as if that was just a normal, sensible place for me to be, a young man such as myself, that I might be at the 50th birthday of a friend.
The last 50th birthday I went to was my dad's.
Yeah.
Let's just think about that for a second.
Yeah, well, it was a good party though. They had a bouncy castle, and they had a very funny cameo video that had been made for the birthday boy, and it was a cameo from. So Cameo is an app that celebrities can use about where people can get a celebrity to give you a shout out on air. And
you can tell the celebrity what to say roughly. You can give them an approximate. You can be like, hey, I just want you to wish this guy happy birthday, make a joke about this, do something about this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, it was a very funny one. It was a guy from the In-Betweeners, and he was like, make sure you give her the old. He was like, so you might even get a bit of gash on your birthday, or get a bit of action on your birthday, or something like that, you old fella. And he was like, make sure you stick the balls in too, and give her the old one pump orgasm, because I'm sure that'll get her frothing at the gash or something like that. And there was all these kids around at the party, and I was like, this is brilliant stuff. And it was really funny. And then there was also a stripper pole that came out, and I was like, all right, stripper pole. I like where this is going. And then a man came out and started dancing on the stripper pole. It was a very talented guy from the Dust Palace crew. From the Dust Palace crowd, nice. And he was doing some great moves. It was very impressive, but it was also very funny as well. I thought that also made me chuckle quite a lot. Just this idea that you're at a party, a stripper pole comes out, and then it's a male stripper.
Well, that's the thing. I do feel like so those cameos. I've been sent one of those cameos before. They're pretty funny.
Yeah. I've got a Cameo account. Nobody has requested any cameos.
Funny
from me.
that.
Well, actually, that's not true. The other day, somebody asked me if I could give her kid a shout out on Facebook. They're like, "Can you like give me my kid a shout out?" And I was pretty tempted just to send them the Cameo link and be like, "Yep."
Yeah, they're pretty good. We've never been closer to our heroes. We've never had greater access to our celebrities, because if you look on these Cameo accounts, they're becoming bigger and bigger. Like, there's still the top tier of talent that will never do them. So, like, all the A-listers will never ever do them. I don't think. Oh, we never know. You don't know. You can't say that for sure. You know, that's always possible. But I feel like it's like, at what point does money, like basically at what point does between $35 and, you know, say 500 mean something to you? So if you're Brad Pitt, $500 doesn't mean that much to you, so you're probably not going to do a cameo. But if you price yourself much higher than that you're really going, you know, for an elite level. And the whole idea of cameos is that
people would pay thousands for Brad Pitt, I reckon.
Well, of course they would, but like, I do feel like kind of diminishing your aura somewhat.
Yeah.
If you're like, "Hey mate, Brad Pitt here.
Yeah.
I just want to wish you a happy birthday. It's
Hello.
me, Brad Pitt.
Hello, Harley.
Harvey.
Hey, happy birthday.
How's it going, Harvey? Just wanted to, so I feel like those A-list stars, like Taylor Swift's not going to be doing any cameos, you know, like those, that upper echelon are not going to do them. But then you've got all basically from like sort of B-list actors downwards, and, you know, let's not forget washed up people as well, who will all now, if they're not already doing them, will be doing cameos, because it's really easy for them. Like, that's the beauty of the technology, is essentially they get a message in their thing, they record it directly on their phone and hit send. Like, it takes them 2 seconds to make $500, and all they have to do is go, "Hey, Harvey, just want to wish you a happy birthday, mate. You know, good on you, bloody keep going." And that's $500 for them. So, and there's a lot of wrestlers that do these cameos, and it's interesting to see like what level wrestlers, you know, charge out at, because some, you know, aim really high, and it's like, well, maybe you're better to aim really high, because, like, for instance, if one person asks you to do a $500 cameo, you've made $500. If you do 50 cameos at $5 a piece, you know, you still haven't got to that $500.
No,
I don't know if my maths is right on
well,
that.
that would be that would be 250.
Yeah, so there you go. So one person has done, like, yeah, sure, he's got asked to do 50 cameos, he or she, but he's had to do 50 cameos. Whereas the person that was like, I'm putting myself out of that bracket, so I'm going to do way less of them, but whenever I do them, you know, that's a nice little check in the mail.
Well, this guy was just, you know, exactly what you said, on his phone, and he was, it seemed that he was in the cab, or, you know, he was probably on his way to the airport or something. He was literally
when
in a
you
car.
get them.
Yeah.
Or you've got nothing, and you're like, okay, I've got a spare. Oh, let me catch up. I'm driving to the airport. Let me catch up on my cameos in the back seat of this Uber.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like.
And that's, you know, like, there's no effort put into them in that regard, you know, in terms of like, you know, let me get the lighting right, let me get everything in place. Yeah, so someone sent me a pretty funny cameo from a former WWE wrestler, and he was like, yeah.
Well,
look,
what wrestler was it?
Well, you wouldn't know him, but it was Hornswoggle, who's like...
Of course I know Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle, the little dwarf.
Yeah.
Hornswoggle, okay. Well, Hornswoggle gave me a cameo about getting back into the gym,
Yeah.
which was hilarious, and it was a really good, like, you know, he clearly put some effort into it. But... like, obviously I have, you know, like some other people that perhaps I'd like a cameo more from than Hornswoggle, and he was like, yeah, I ain't paying for Bret the Hitman Hart. I can't afford Bret the Hitman Hart. Fuck that. So it was just funny, because basically everyone's doing them, and I am 100% going to pay some, like, I've got to find the right one, obviously, but I'm definitely paying for some messages to people, because it's pretty funny. It's pretty hilarious.
I wonder if you're allowed to use that footage for anything. I guess not.
Well,
I assume you're not allowed to, like, then upload. Say somebody makes a cameo for you, and you then put it on your YouTube channel, Are you allowed to do that?
No, but I think a lot of people, that's happened a lot.
You should be allowed to.
That's happened a lot.
It's a fucking video. I'm paying you to make a video saying shout out to Guy.
Yeah, but it's a private video. It's just a private message to them.
Yeah.
It's not to be used for financial gain.
Yeah.
Apart from their own.
Apart from their own financial gain.
But yeah, there was some complaints basically about Cameo or like people on Cameo doing that. So they'd take the messages they got from celebrities and they go, check out what I got this person to say.
Yeah.
And, so, but it's a pretty fascinating thing because, that's technology right there. Years ago you could never get a message from Hornswoggle. The only time I get so if only George Lucas on Cameo, I'd pay for that cameo. Well, pay for some money for that cameo.
I reckon it's a pretty sweet gig. I've got to get into it. I signed up for Cameo when we first went into lockdown. I was like, okay, I've got to figure out more ways to earn online when the first lockdown, and I was like, okay, so I signed up for that, but then I never really did anything with it. I didn't promote it or anything like that. Plus, obviously, there's not very many people that have seen I Survived the Zombie Holocaust that are like, hey, can Wesley do a cameo? But hey, look, if somebody was like, hey, if my price was like $5 or $10 and they were like, and they paid me, I'd be like, okay, that's sweet. Because this guy from the In-Betweeners, he could have just been making it up as he went, but I don't think so. I think basically what he has is probably a little script that he just uses in different circumstances. So in the case of a man turning 50, and maybe they, he had a bit more information about the birthday boy and had been told that he can take a joke and he likes dirty humor or something like that, and so he had the script that he would prepare and he just changes the names and basically just rattles off these lines, about this, make sure you stick the balls in and give her the old one pump orgasm. I bet he says that on like multiple videos. But that's a good thing, right? That's how you keep it smart, keep it easy, like that's how you make it super simple. So yeah, good idea, I reckon, and I could do that too. Just got to get slightly more famous, ever so slightly more famous.
So as you were talking there, I just looked up the Trailer Park Boys. Now, the Trailer Park Boys was a illustrious show which sort of went on like 9 seasons and then got well, they didn't get cancelled. They decided to stop it because they're like, we've done 9 seasons. But then Netflix came along and they're like, we want to do more seasons. And everyone was like, well, we're not doing anything now. We have these characters now for the rest of our lives. I think they were doing tours of the Trailer Park Boys, basically. But the guy who was one of the creators of Trailer Park Boys was like, look, guys, we've done 9 fucking seasons. Like, we've told it's got more and more ridiculous. We've told every single story there is to tell, so I'm not going to be involved in it. And so they made it without him. And I imagine they paid him out a nice little tidy sum each season to do that. And now they're doing animated Trailer Park Boys. But anyway, you can get a cameo from Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys on Cameo. So it's genius, absolute genius.
Shout out to Liam Hegarty, 5150 listener Liam Hegarty on the live stream. He was saying he's quit his soul-sucking, soul-destroying job, and last night he worked in Melbourne's craziest and funnest tiki bar, which is interesting because he's drank a lot of pints, but he's never been a pint puller. He's never been a bar tender. But evidently, he's made the transition. He's jumped the bar. He's made the transition that each musician makes from playing in front at the bar to working behind the bar. Yeah, from lead singer in a band to bartender.
To the lead bartender at the venue.
He's not the lead bartender. He's literally at the bottom of the pile of bartenders. If last night was his first day, he is definitely not the lead bartender.
Yeah, it's just like how I...
he's the lowest bartender.
I graduated from going to and attending film festivals to filming people attending film festivals.
Yeah.
Similar career trajectory.
Yeah.
We've done well for ourselves.
Yeah.
Bubbles says that you have to specify if you don't want swearing in his cameos.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's how I'd do it too. You don't want to be all
damn good stuff.
Restricted.
Okay. This is actually, you've given me an idea. I'm going to, so my sister sometimes listens to the podcast. I think I'm going to get one of these cameos for my brother-in-law, Dwight. Not necessarily this one, but one of them, because what else am I going to buy him? Socks?
I could do with some new socks.
I could do with some new socks too,
It's lucky that Christmas is here. Hopefully somebody buys me some socks. If you guys would like to buy us some socks, just all you need is our there's a PayPal account and the email address pigvilleproductions@gmail.com, or there's a link in the description which has the buy me a coffee. I think it's called buy us a beer. It's a link in the description. You can give us a one-off Christmas money bonus for this year's hard work that we've done.
Well, I also just got a message from Will Fleming, a friend of the show, Will Fleming. Please Blow My Mind podcast, Will Fleming. And he said, nice and cool in there, bro, because he's referring to the heat pump that we've recently got installed. And actually, no, it's not that cool, Will, because someone was too cold. He had little chilly shoulders. He had little chilly shoulders. It was getting too chilly. With the heat pump, the aircon was too much, so we had to turn it off. So now I'm actually getting hot. I'm starting to roast. Yeah, but yes, the heat pump is there. The heat pump is here to stay.
Yeah. But so it does blow directly onto the desk here, and it was quite cold actually.
Yeah, well,
we haven't figured out how to operate
a real
it yet.
soft.
Yeah.
The soft fan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that soft, but yeah. Now, speaking of Will, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this on the podcast. I don't think he will. Because there's not too much crossover between our audiences, but he has recently been working on a YouTube series of his own about his journey to become a man who eats only potatoes for 20 days in a row. The potato diet. So 20 days.
So he's making a YouTube
and he's documenting those 20 days.
Eating potatoes for 20 days.
Only potatoes.
Yeah.
So you can eat as much potatoes as you want per day, but you can't eat anything else except potatoes. And he has lost, in that 20-day space of time, he has lost 10 kg.
Yeah.
Which is a substantial amount of weight.
Yeah.
He said that it was pure hell.
Yeah.
Pure hell.
10 kgs and 10 years off the end of his life.
What, eating all potatoes?
Yeah, just all potatoes. Just no nutrition. Just
potatoes is a vegetable, mate. It's like eating,
and then presumably
like
just fried. They're all fried.
Well, so I think the issue,
because obviously you can't just have boiled potatoes every day. So
well, I think that's the goal.
Yeah,
was for it to be the very
the healthy version.
Sautéed potatoes. Boiled potatoes in their jackets, all those sorts of things. But
then what are you going to do with a potato in its jacket? Are you allowed to add like bacon and all that stuff to it?
No bacon.
Is it literally just a potato that you've baked?
Well, you put just a little bit of butter in there.
Right, okay.
But, salt and pepper, lest we forget.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper. But the issue was, he was like, look, I can't eat boiled potatoes. So yes, some of the system that he invented was basically he was like, this potato thing is driving me insane. I can't do this. I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. And so he started having hash browns, which are quite tasty.
Tasty, super unhealthy,
but not very good for you.
Yeah.
But it's continued to lose weight.
Yeah.
So the diet worked. The potato.
Is it also though because you're like, okay, so I had my potatoes for breakfast, I've had my potatoes for lunch, and I've had my potatoes for dinner, and then the next day you have potatoes, and then the next day, and then after a few days, you're like, I'm just gonna skip my lunch potatoes because I'm so fucking sick of potatoes. So you end up having 2 meals a day, which is breakfast and dinner, and it's both just potatoes.
To be honest, and this is something that I didn't really realize until he sort of talked about it, is that potatoes actually have a very low in calories. People say don't eat carbohydrates, which is true, like in terms of certain diets, but the actual caloric intake of a potato is very, very low. So the idea is just that you're at a constant caloric deficit no matter how many potatoes you eat, basically.
I see. So that's the logic. That's the science behind it.
That's the science behind
basically, you can eat, you can have a full stomach, you can feel full.
Yeah.
You can be taking in some calories, but actually they're so low in calories that if you don't eat anything else and you do move around that day, you still burn more calories than you you put in.
Also, there's definitely something to the I'm sick of potatoes, so I'm going to skip a potato meal.
Yeah.
Certainly that would be a contributing factor. Like, what's the point in having breakfast? It's just going to be fucking potatoes.
Yeah.
Let me just move on to my fucking lunch and I'll consider potatoes then. But I can't face any more potatoes right now.
Yeah.
So the potato diet has paid off, and I don't know when that YouTube series will be debuting, but it's pretty damn entertaining stuff. So it's giving me a little preview.
Shout out to Will.
Potato diet. So it certainly made me consider going on the potato diet.
I would
for 20, because that's the thing. Like, this is like, forget the potatoes for a second. Like, just forget all about potatoes, right? Take potatoes out of your mind. But just if someone said to you, I'm going to put you on a diet, you can eat as much as you want of this thing. I'm not going to tell you it's potatoes right off the bat. You can eat as much as you want. I guarantee that you're going to lose 10 kg in 20 days if you stick to this diet. 10 kgs. To me, I'd be like, sweet, sign me up.
Yeah.
That sounds great. That sounds like a great deal. I'll eat anything for 20 days.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Well,
there you go.
Why haven't you gotten started? Because you've just been told...
I bought some hash browns. I bought some hash browns.
10 kgs in 20 days.
Well, I do think that you didn't... Like, so...
We've got a chip shop very nearby. So
oh my God, that chip shop.
Chips
God, I don't think if you ate those chips it would work. I think you might die if you ate those chips for 20 days in a row. I definitely think that's a serious consideration.
Yeah.
Is dying from fish and chips. From fish and chip shops.
The problem is that potatoes tend to be things that you eat with fatty things. So, for example, you know, mashed potato is great, but it's not as good as mashed potato with a bit of cheese through it. Or, you know, chips are great, but they're deep fried. Or potatoes in the jacket, but of course you want to put some big blob of sour cream on the top. You know, a stuffed baked potato with like bacon and stuff like that in it, and a big blob of sour cream on top.
Yeah, can't do that.
Know? Exactly. So... That's really the only way you want to be eating potatoes.
I guess at the end of the day, though, all diets are about restrictions.
Did he talk to you about his bowel movements?
And well, he documented them in the video.
Go check out the YouTube channel.
But I feel like you just get into a rhythm of, well, I don't know. I actually did not ask him specifically how often he's shitting.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of the conversations that I broached with him.
Yeah.
But I still think it's fascinating, the potato diet. I still may try it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you do have to spend a lot of money on potatoes.
Well,
and
now would be the time. No, potatoes are cheap. And also,
they're cheap, but not when you buy in like
hash browns and shit.
A lot of potatoes per day.
But also, now would be the time to do it though, while your significant other is away, because she's not going to be wanting to eat potatoes every day. So now would be the time to do it. You know, while she's not here, because then you can do it every day and not be sitting next to her eating like something delicious that you want to eat.
But it's also all about like what you see other people experience. So I saw him at the brink of madness eating potatoes.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I want to go to the edge and look into the abyss.
Yeah.
You see? You know, so it's all well and good to say, you know, lose 10 kgs, eat potatoes, but it's another to the mental drain and toll that it takes on you is the hard part. The potato difficulties. So Liam Hegarty also says the interesting thing about the bar that he's working at is that the owner is a filmmaker, and he gave him a copy of his feature called Fags in the Fast Lane. I wonder what that's about.
I think it's about
cigarette smokers.
Cigarettes.
Who like to
drive fast.
Yeah, drive fast cars, presumably.
Yeah, no, that would be fag smokers in the fast lane. Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's maybe about a janitor who accidentally upturned a bunch of cigarettes into the lane of a raceway.
Yeah.
You know, one of those
well, do you know what
circuits.
Do you know what a faggot is?
It's a it's a vegetable.
No, it's
a root.
No, it's a pile of sticks.
So is that what it was?
You get a pile of sticks, like a small transportable pile of sticks that you would maybe wrap up in a rope or something like that, I guess for like starting a fire, you know, and they call it a faggot of wood. So perhaps it's about, you know, these wood things which have ended up on the right-hand lane, the fast lane of the highway. You know, they've fallen off the back of a truck and everybody needs to drive around them. perhaps.
So I mean, that's possible if this film was made in the 18th century. When that terminology was used.
It's a little bit it is a bit of an old school word. I mean, it is a bit of an old school word, but
well, that's our best guesses because there can't be any other things that it could be about, as far as I could see.
No, me either.
Yeah.
Well, we better open up our new favorite segment, which is Jab Chat.
Yep.
Because I went and I got my booster shot the other day because I'm a big boy. And I'm wearing my big boy pants, and it was all very fine. It's all very, took 2 minutes to do the actual vaccine, and then I had to I was supposed to sit around for 15 minutes, but I sat around for 10 minutes and then I snuck away. But it is a little bit ridiculous because every time I go and get one of these vaccines or any other type of injection, they give me a Band-Aid afterwards. But the Band-Aid is just ridiculous on me because obviously it doesn't stick to my skin. It sticks to the hair, and then it just comically floats about an inch above the actual wound, not stopping blood in any way, which is what it's supposed to do, and not stopping bacteria or anything like that getting in, which is also what it's supposed to do. It's just it's just quite comical, but they always still put it on, and then I just have to rip it off later. So that's really the most painful bit about getting the vaccine, actually, is having to rip the plaster off your hairy shoulders.
That's the true sacrifice you've made for keeping the world you live in safe and the people around you safe.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I did.
That's the true weight of responsibility, the burden that you must bear is going, ow!
Why'd you put this on? Can't you see it's not working? Yeah, well, I did have a bit of a sore arm later, and I did have a bit of a crappy sleep. I was sort of tossing and turning, a little bit sort of hot and bothered and tossing and turning, and just didn't really have a very good sleep, and, didn't really, feel 100%. Didn't feel too bad, but I just didn't feel 100%. And that was really about the extent of it. And I thought, saving the world's so hard. This is so bad. I shouldn't have got the vaccine.
I want to be free to make my own choices in the world.
I can't believe I have to go through this in order to save people's lives.
I want to choose not to save other people's lives and my own. I don't want that. I want to be able to choose that, but I don't want that.
Yeah. So I want to hold the economy back. I want to hold the entire country's economy back by not getting vaccinated. Yeah. So that was really my experience of it. It was all good, and now I'm thrice protected.
It'd be funny if you get COVID tomorrow or something.
Well, the thing is that if I need the booster shot, then theoretically my resistance to the virus is waning, right? That's why they're telling you to get the booster. And it takes a couple of weeks or 10 days or whatever after you get the shot to then, reach that, full protection or maximum protection that you can get, right? It doesn't happen instantly.
Yeah.
And I did go to several social events recently because that was the way the cookie crumbled, such as this 50th.
Was anyone wearing masks there?
Nah. So I walked in wearing my mask. It was an outdoor party.
Sure.
Well, it started off outdoor. The stripper pole was inside. But it was an outdoor party, and I got there. I had my mask on, but nobody else did. And then immediately some people hugged me, and I was like, all right, well, I guess we're going all in. just dive into this COVID pit. and then jump around in the COVID bouncy castle with the COVID kids who are all obviously unvaccinated because they can't be vaccinated yet.
That's right.
So there was COVID kids, there was hugs, there was liberal lefty loosey type people there, ad people. They were they're all like ad agency sort of folks. I don't know if ad agency people are necessarily anti-vax or not, but they're liberal lefties. I imagine they're not anti-vax on account of the fact that if people don't get vaccinated, then you can't make any damn ads. So they're probably like, hurry up and get vaccinated, y'all. I did get a scoop, which I don't think I said on the show, which is that I was talking to a casting director who said that all actors that are unvaccinated now are basically just getting discreetly dropped from their agents. Like, agents are just not really representing actors who are anti-vax because
What's the point?
What's the point? They can't work on any sets. Like most sets don't want anti-vax or unvaccinated people there, and so if they're just discreetly kind of getting rid of them. Which is good news for me. More work for me. And less competition. Plus, it's nice to see those damn anti-vaxxers getting their comeuppance.
That'll teach you stupid hippie actors.
Yeah.
Well, teach you stupid hippie actors, my body, my temple shit.
Yeah. The wellness crowd.
Fucking wellness gang.
Fucking wellness crowd.
I've had it up here with the wellness gang.
They're as bad as the alt-right. The woke left and the alt-right they've just gone full circle. Now they're both, they've met back at idiot land. Like I think it was Einstein, pretty sure, I could be wrong here. See, if you go far enough one way, you'll eventually come back the other way. That's them. They've gone all the way, and they've just met at infinity now. The alt-right and the woke left have met at infinity, and that infinity is known as, idiot land.
Yeah, well, I do sometimes. I always just get worried when I see people, like immunocompromised people talking about this whole thing. And how not you and I, because we're have empathy for our fellow human beings on this fucking planet. It's not really that difficult to muster up a shred, just a tiny little bit of just a smidge, just a little. Oh, I don't want to horribly kill anyone today. I don't want to horribly kill. I don't want to put anyone through any horrible, slow, agonizing death today. So what do I have to do? Oh, well, I got to get this vaccination. But choices. I'm being told to do this, but I don't want to horribly murder anyone if possible, so I want to reduce my chances of horribly murdering anyone, including myself. But choices, so many choices. Pro-choices. But yes, it just sometimes feels like, those people, those anti-vaxxers have their foot firmly on the throat of the immunocompromised that they are around, and are kind of just like, I'm fucking pro-choice.
My choice is more important than your health.
Than your life. I don't really care about other people's lives, just my own. Look, we all only care about our own lives. That's, of course, right? We are living in our own bodies, so obviously it's all relational to us, but it's not very hard to kind of take one step outside of ourselves and go, well, look, if for some reason I get cancer and recover from it and become immunocompromised through my treatment, I would really like for other people to do their best to keep me safe. I've just survived this horrific thing that I've had to go through that no one else has had to go through. Other people have, but, so I've already cheated death once and I'd like to, remain alive. I'm very grateful to be alive now. I've had the second chance. So I'd really love it if people would also keep me alive or be willing to keep me alive by doing this tiny fucking thing.
This tiny thing, which really isn't a big deal.
And obviously that's just one example. Someone could have, very bad asthma, lungs scarring. There's so many different reasons you might be immunocompromised, and that COVID is a much bigger threat. So when we talk about it like we're having a joke and having a laugh, in the sense that, we are both relatively healthy, maybe not diet-wise, but relatively healthy people who are probably not going to be really seriously affected by it. But if either of us were, can you imagine how much more passionately we'd be like, fuck guys, come on.
Get your goddamn vaccines.
And I just think it's just a really scary thing for like someone, who hops on the bus with their mask on and they're already nervous about it. Because they're in this place where, there's less restrictions and anti-vaxxers are rampant on public transport, of course, because they don't have cars, because pro-choice.
They don't have jobs. Because
they're pro-choice. They don't want to.
They're intellectually lacking.
So, and
they've all been fired.
And they walk
dropped from their jobs.
And then they walk in, and then there's an anti-vaxxer right there going, why are you fucking wearing the mask? COVID can't hurt you. You sheep. You stupid dumb sheep. Like breathing COVID on this immuno, and it's like, look, I could actually, literally, this conversation could kill me right now. And here you are talking about fucking your freedoms.
Yeah.
It's an embarrassment.
A cheeky uppercut, keep walking.
You're an embarrassment. Well, they're immunocompromised. They're weak. So that would just, like, it would, like, just kind of, and then they'd just, it would only be more problematic for them.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting to see people really... You know, sometimes you think, oh, you know, people just have difficult lives. And that's true. There are some people who have just, you know, really drawn a bad lot and they've been had a lot of, you know, unfortunate things happen in their lives. And then you've got other people who create the issues in their own lives. And I feel like I'm looking now at a lot of anti-vaxxers and I'm saying, look at all these problems that you're bringing into your life right now. Potentially health problems, economic problems. You know, like there's, you know, some police officers that are going to have to, you know, quit the force because they don't want to get the vaccine. There's these actors who can no longer have representation because they don't want to get the vaccine. It's like, and it's all for nothing, all based off this nonsense that they've read on the internet. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, look, you're actually the one making yourself, you know, giving yourself this difficult life. And so, I don't know, it's just interesting to watch that. It's like to stand back and be like, why is your life so difficult? Oh, because you keep doing stupid things. Why? Because you think you know better than, you know, virologists or, you know, whoever it is that, you know, the experts and the scientists and all the rest of it. And also it shows that they don't understand how things come to be passed in government and that type of thing. You know, it's not like Jacinda just goes, today this is what we're doing. There's all sorts of people that are involved in these decisions that get made, all sorts of experts, and they have to act, they have to respond to the expert opinions and advice. It's not like Jacinda just goes, no, you know, and she makes these decisions or anything like that. You know, these are experts, and it's like, okay, you can trust what the government is saying because there's transparency enough that you can go and check and double check what they're actually talking about, and you'll see that the silly nonsense that you're reading on YouTube or watching on YouTube doesn't actually add up. So, yeah, I don't know. It is interesting to watch them ruin their own lives. And I found it very difficult to feel sorry for them, basically. It's like, oh, what? You can't get into the bar now. Why? Because you're stupid. Oh, you can't get a job now. Oh, what? You lost your job because you read some shit on the internet and think you know better than the experts for now. You know, like, stop being stupid.
Don't like being told, like, don't like hearing good advice.
Yeah.
You don't like being told good advice. You don't like being told, like, by someone who knows better than you, something that they know more about. You don't like being told that.
Well, stupid people don't know they're stupid. That's the difference between a stupid person and a smart person. A smart person knows they're a little bit stupid. A smart person knows that there's lots of things that they don't know. A stupid person thinks they know everything, and they remain stupid for that very reason.
Yeah. And
we have got a Christmas, little orphans Christmas shindig coming up at our place. Yeah. And, you know, I really hope that everybody that comes is vaccinated and that there's not a Pigville cluster. There's the Pigville cluster that they're sorting out, you know, in 2022. The Omicron Pigville cluster from Christmas.
I called it Omicron Prime.
Right. I think it's
Omicron.
Yeah.
There's no N.
No.
It's just Optimus. Prime.
Yeah. So that's coming up.
The Omicron variant is coming up.
Well, that and the party, the Christmas party is coming up. And obviously I do have some concerns about that. I happen to know that there'll be one potentially immunocompromised person coming.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And we have,
here's hoping I'm
respectfully,
not responsible for that.
asked for people to be double vaxxed.
Double vaxxed. Yeah, exactly. I have. But who knows?
Because we don't have the scanner.
We're not going to scan people. I mean, my plan, to be honest, my plan wasn't to actually ask people to physically show me the thing. My plan was basically that these people I'm inviting are my friends.
On a basis of common human decency.
Yeah.
And goodwill to fellow man, which is kind of a Christmas thing too.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. I'm also getting back into work now. I'm working out of the house now. I've got a few different jobs lined up out of the house, and I'm going to be really quite miffed if I get COVID, or if anybody from my bubble gets COVID and then I have to isolate right when my work is starting to pick up again. That would be quite annoying. But today and yesterday I had an extremely easy job, one of the easiest jobs I've had in a long time. It was for a TV show that was being recorded for Moldy TV, and my job was to sit there with a little Stream Deck, which is a little programmable thing. It's got buttons on it. You assign different actions to each button. I didn't have to program it or anything like that. I just had to sit there, all done, and I just had to sit there with this tiny little thing. It's only got a few buttons on it. You really can't fuck it up. And I just had to run some timers for the presenters. So the presenters were playing games, and they have to know how much time they have left in the game. And so there's a clock, but the thing is, the clock doesn't go on air, so it's not being broadcast to the public. I'm literally just basically running a stopwatch that the presenters can see off air, and that was my entire job. And
tough gig.
It was easy work and well paid, and I was like, I'm going to make this for my full-time career.
Live streaming a clock.
Yeah.
Or you're not even live streaming
it. Literally just starting and stopping and resetting a clock, basically. I had to follow along with the script, obviously, and know which timer for how long and stuff like that. But overall, extremely easy. And I've got a solid 7-day week coming up of out-of-the-house broadcasting work next week after Christmas. So I'm back, baby. I'm back on that freelance wagon. And it's just in time too, because the government has got rid of the resurgence payments. Then there was the final transition payment,
and now we're out.
That's it. Now we're back off the benefit.
We're off the damn benefit. God damn it!
So
need another lockdown.
Yeah. Well, we might get lucky. The other good thing about that Omicron is that they're talking about it being basically more transmissible but less deadly, and that's kind of what happened with the 1918 flu eventually, is that it was more transmissible but less deadly, and basically mutated itself into becoming kind of unimportant, because basically it can spread around as much as it wants without really hurting too many people. And that's really what you want.
That's right.
So you want to reach that happy medium there where, the virus gets to survive and be the best virus it can be and spread around through lots of people, which is the point of a virus, and the humans don't die from it. And we can get on with that and open up the economy.
We can coexist peacefully.
Exactly.
Kind of like the Eddie Brock and Venom.
Exactly like Eddie Brock and Venom. Exactly.
Tyler's Vids asks, will I Survived Zombie Holocaust get a Blu-ray release? We'd have to make it ourselves, and then we'd have to distribute it ourselves once we are no longer represented by our distribution company.
Yeah.
Which is actually a while away in New Zealand.
Well, it's April, isn't it?
No, that's overseas.
Ah.
Yeah. Nah.
When is it in New Zealand?
It's like an extra 2 or 3 years or something ridiculous.
What? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so when I Survived a Zombie Holocaust in April, theoretically, we do get the rights back for the international, right?
Not all international.
Well, no, not all international, but our main deal, the main deal, we get it back.
Well, no, not necessarily, because what we don't know right now is what deals they have made.
Yeah.
So the idea is that, yes, the rights revert back to us, but any existing deals they've already put in place for the film may still be ongoing, because obviously what we want to do is go, fuck all you guys. We're bringing it back.
See ya.
Fuck all you all. Fuck y'all. We're out of here. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Not you.
You're cool. Fuck you. I'm out.
To the guy in Germany.
Yeah.
Not you. You're cool.
That's kind of what we want.
The German distributor.
Because none of them are giving us anything. Well, they're giving our sales agent money. That's who they're giving money to. But what we don't know is they'll be like, no, fuck you. We've got it for another fucking 5 years, motherfucker. But here's your weekly payments that are now coming to you instead of, your sales agent.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see about that, because for us to make
those weekly payments sound all right.
Well, it'll be quarterly payments.
Yeah.
It'll be anything weekly about them.
Yeah.
Maybe even yearly.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to see, what happens with that, because again, we're not privy to any of those contracts at the moment either. We're not fucking privy to anything.
But so when we get these rights back, right? it's been 10 years. It's probably time to release the director's cut, the 10-year anniversary director's cut. But to do that, you'll need to start working on that edit about 6 months ago. So you better get started. You've got 3 months to do 6 months of work.
What's interesting, right? Because obviously the hard way to do it, or in fact the almost impossible way to do it, would be to go back into the edit, which was done in Final Cut 7, which no longer exists, and use the raw footage and move around the raw footage. The easier way would be to take the finished version and then just put in or take out bits from that, and then get the sound, the music score and sound mix readjusted based on those additional changes.
Yeah, but you're still talking about adding in footage and so on from.
So yeah, you would still have to go back, and it's kind of interesting because even that process at the time that we made it was like, oh, you need a production house to do, I've got to go to the studio to do the editing. We couldn't possibly have a computer that could handle any of that. And 10 years later, it's literally my laptop is better by a million miles than any computer that we used at that time to edit. And I have hard drives that are faster than, the ones that we were using at the time. So it's kind of this, it is an interesting idea. I wonder if it'd be a bit like Rocky IV. Sylvester Stallone has just done a ultimate cut, right? So 30 years later, he goes, Rocky IV, the beloved classic. But, there's actually things that now looking back as a 70-year-old man, I actually think we made some mistakes there. So Paramount or whoever have given me some additional money to make those changes, to go back and make those changes. So we're not given any money to make those changes off the top, right? No. So that means it's going to cost us some money. But then he kind of did that, and it was like, there you go, world, my true vision of Rocky IV. Yeah. And everyone's like, who gives a fuck, mate? Yeah. Like, one, this film came out 30 years ago. And we all liked it back then, and it's like now in the kind of Rocky pantheon. We don't care about going back and you fucking fiddling around with it now. It's irrelevant because you made something that everyone liked in a time, right? That time is gone. Like this whole Russia, America, the USA beats the Cold War storyline is not so relevant now. Rocky, that version of Rocky, the kind of the more successful Rocky with a robot butler is maybe not as identifiable now as, like he was in the earlier Rockies. So, and, we all kind of acknowledge that it's this kind of this silly, fun boxing movie that is fucking silly. And so you've come in and tried to go on, I acknowledge that I'm moving a bit over the top here with the silliness and I'm going to tone it back. And everyone goes, we don't care. It's no longer relevant. So I just wonder if we go, here you go. I survived a Zombie Holocaust. The director's cut. Everyone goes, who cares? It was fine before. What do we want any more of this for?
Nah, I don't reckon, mate. I reckon they're gagging for a director's cut of I Survived the Zombie Holocaust because, it'll be the release that we kind of didn't get to do because we had signed the various deals and so on, and so this will be the just a new way to hype it up basically and get people who might have already seen the movie to watch it, and other people who kind of thought about watching the movie but never got around to it, they were like, oh sweet, there's a director's cut, I'll watch it right now.
Yeah, the real hard part is probably not even the sound mix, it's actually the changing, adjusting of the music tracks.
Right.
I think that would be the only truly difficult part of that, like in terms of if I chose to just I sort of take the finished version, I drop that into my timeline, and then I start taking raw footage and putting that back in.
But that when you drop that version into your timeline, is it going to have separate audio tracks?
That's the thing.
For all the thing, or are you just saying like it literally doesn't? So you would have to get the music made to somehow squeeze to stay in time with this other version that is already there, and then that requires. Well, that would be quite difficult, right?
That's the issue, is that people are going to have to, like the sound designers are going to have to come back in and add all the sound design to any extra bits we do.
And so is there no file which is kind of basically
all the different tracks.
Yeah, all the different tracks in that sort of final version.
There is, but I don't think it would make a difference whether we were sort of going off that, like, it would make it slightly easier for me, as in I'm not going to have any abrupt cuts. But those have to be fixed anyway. You know, those have to be extended out anyway, and I can't do that. So it's actually really interesting. Or maybe I could, with Audition, enable remix. So basically what's going to happen, Mike Newport, friend of the show, who never listens, but friend of the show, Mike Newport, amazing, talented composer. So he did the music score for I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. And obviously all his tracks are timed perfectly. Now, the problem with Mike Newport is he's become wildly successful, while we have not.
Yeah.
Which basically what that means is that he is too successful to work with us anymore.
Well, especially not slumming it on but what would be a very poor paying.
Well, all of them are slumming it on a very poor paying job. That's the thing. So,
but it's a big job as well.
I don't know if it would be that big. It would depend what are these extra bits. But what I could do is, if I did have that music track, is I could just drop some into Audition and extend the tracks out by butchering them horribly, and then just go, there you go.
There you go. You happy with that, Mike? It says at the credits, score by Mike Newport, and then it's your horribly mixed version,
he would not
your
be
horribly
happy.
hacked up version.
Now, I did run this whole idea by the sound mixer as well.
Yeah.
And he goes, what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Hey, and he goes, you're fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That was his response
Yeah.
to my pitch of that. So
Yeah.
there's a few obstacles to getting that put together. It's interesting because that's the thing, right? I would want to kind of rocky it where he went actually back into the cut, went and picked different takes, all that sort of thing. I don't really think I'd pick any different takes, but I definitely would want to almost go back into the cut and have that flexibility, and that's where things get a little tricky.
Well, that would be the best place to do it. But I guess the real question is there an actual desire or motivation to go back into that film? Is there another film within that film that you would like to see brought out,
really.
given the light of day?
No,
shown the light of day?
I'm very happy with I'm not very happy. I'm happy as I could have been getting the film to be, where it was. Like, so it was as good as it possibly could have been at that stage, right? With the resources that we had, with the experience that I had, it's as good as it could have been. Now, looking at it now, I'm like, maybe I could, and I'm still very happy with, I guess, the second half of it. For me, the first half is just sometimes a bit disconnecty, and really some of those things, like some of the reasons it became a bit disconnecty was literally because we got to a set and it's like, you can't shoot that.
Yeah.
Or we can't walk into the, like, I always imagine, for example, when you walk into Wesley walks into the shed and he's being briefed on all this stuff, and it was split over these 3 different sequences or 4 different sequences, which were all 2 different places. But the idea was it was kind of one continuous thing. It's like, here's the deal. This is what's going on. There's all these extras walking past you doing all this stuff. And then here you go, you're on your own, kid. Right? And that sets everything up. Except when we shot it, it was like, okay, these are all different bits. We don't actually have a shed here. We've just erected a tiny metal piece of corrugated iron, which you guys are walking behind.
And
so
it said 2 set. Cardboard sign that said 2 set.
So we can't continue the shot because we're just going to walk around to an empty thing.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of stuff like that I feel just broke it up a little bit. It's interesting. Like, that's my I guess the first act is the bit that I'd like to muck about with. But I don't necessarily know there's a better first act in there to really re-edit. I'm very happy with the last, once we're on the roller coaster, we're off and running, it's all good. But yeah, that first sort of section is what I'd want to try and rework. But I just don't know if you can really do it.
Have the listeners seen I Survived a Zombie Holocaust? Let us know in the comments below. So I was thinking about getting a Staffy pup And if it's going to happen, it has to happen really quickly because there's some pups available now. They're at 8 weeks old and they get, they can be, released at 10 weeks old. So basically 2 weeks from now, these pups are going to be ready to rock. And I've been wanting to get a dog for a while, but since my last dog died, Slade, rest his soul, at when I was 26, I haven't had a dog since. First 26 years of my life, had a dog. Last 13 years of my life, haven't had a dog. And now I finally live in a place with a decent yard, and I was and then this staffy, became available, and I'd really like to do it. But there's a couple of problems. One, it costs $3,000 for that puppy. And two, and this is really the main one, is that my work's starting to pick up again. So, for example, I mentioned I'm doing like 55 hours next week, right? So if I had a puppy right now, what would the puppy be doing while I'm at work for 55 hours? Because when I was a kid and I had a puppy, my other dog, I could leave. If I went to school, that was okay because mum could look after him. And then when he was a little bit older, when they're older, it's a bit easier because I'll just send him over to your place. But when they're a little chewing things up and shitting everywhere and pissing everywhere.
It's my office space, well, both here in the studio, which I also leave open all the time to air out, which I'd have to stop doing, I suppose. But it's an electrical hazard of epic proportions. So there's a risk that the dog will electrocute himself and die.
Right, if it comes in here and chews up a big cable or something dumb.
And up in my office as well.
Right.
But there's just no safe spot in those two environments where a dog that doesn't know not to chew things can live safely, and for me to live unragefully from it destroying my stuff.
Yeah, your expensive stuff that you like to keep on the floor.
Well, they're just cords, but it's obviously quite hard to find a replacement cord for some of these things.
Yeah. Well, look, if you chewed anything up, I'd definitely contribute towards replacing that. The other day, I went to the gym. Now I'm on this new 2 pass per week system that we talked about last time. 2 passes per week. I can go to the gym twice per week for $29 per week. I went down to the gym. I went at the wrong time because I thought I had a class. It turned out it was the next day. So I was at the gym, and normally you'd be like, oh, well, I'll just have a workout. But I was like, well, if I have a workout, then I can't do my class tomorrow. So I walked down to the gym in my gym gear and then turned around and walked home again. And it's so stupid. Just let me work out there. $29 a week, two. It's fucking crazy.
So why couldn't you? What was the?
Well, because I get 2 passes, right? And I'd used 1 pass, so I had 1 pass left for that week. So I could either go for a half-assed casual stretch and a workout, which is what I would do if I was kind of doing my own workout, and I could do it right then and there while I was at the gym, or I could do my class the following day, which is the class that I'd been wanting to do. So it was either one or the other. A casual workout by myself, which wouldn't be really working that hard, or my class the following day. So I had to say no. I had to turn around and go home because I couldn't waste a pass. The hard bit is getting to the gym, getting up, getting motivated, getting yourself there. That's the hard
battle.
bit. That's
I've lost that battle.
I won that battle.
The last 2 days, I've lost that battle.
I won the battle and then couldn't get in.
Yeah. Well. You need a new gym, mate. That's all I'll say about that.
The other day, something else quite potentially the worst thing that could happen almost happened, which was one of my bosses has had a baby recently. And it's
definitely the worst thing that could happen.
It's the worst thing that could happen. And I was sitting here minding my business, and she sort of quite abruptly handed me the baby.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here, hold this for a bit, and that's fine. I don't mind holding. I know how to hold a baby. It's all good. So she handed me the baby, and I grabbed onto it, and then in that exact moment that my boss handed me her very quite new baby, the seat I was sitting on broke catastrophically. It exploded spontaneously, basically.
Which is also gym related.
Yeah, right? Because I'm so muscly and big and, swole. And so your
stomach is so swole right now.
And so she handed me this baby, and the whole top of the seat just broke off, basically. And so I was holding a baby. I was holding it under its arms, so I couldn't grab anything or use anything to stabilize myself. And so I almost fell over, and I sort of swooped the baby around and, didn't shake it, luckily, but kind of swooped it around a little and managed to keep my balance, only thanks to my years and years of skateboarding. But it was I almost went fucking ass over tits with my boss's new baby in my hands, and there was like concrete and everything. It was not a soft place to fall over. But fortunately, it was a close shave, but I got away with it. Can't really think of anything much worse than, like someone handing you a baby and you falling over catastrophically is obviously bad. And if that person is your boss, it's obviously a million times worse.
Yeah, which reminds me of the time that I was put in charge of a baby or a toddler, and they were sitting next to me. All I had to do was keep an eye on it while Mike and Joss, our friends, played tennis. And I looked away for 1 second. Baby fell over backwards off the thing and smashed its head on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like I kind of half caught it, so it kind of just kind of scraped its head a bit. Yeah. But, obviously tears. And I was like, I had one job.
I'm not very good at this.
I had one job. I was like, they're just sitting there. What damage could they possibly do to themselves when they're literally sitting?
Yeah.
Well, apparently that. So, so I watched Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man.
Now, you're going to talk spoilers because I did see a bunch of people online
sort of, but
complaining about, spoilers, don't do spoilers and all of that type of thing. So
I can't even remember.
I don't give a shit, obviously.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
So the last one, there was Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
And now Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
They should make a New Zealand sequel called Spider-Man Leaky Homes.
Hey, there you go.
Dad joke number one.
Dad joke number one.
In case you're...
Yeah.
So
I've been watching the porno version, which was Far From Homo, No Way Homo, and what was the other one? Homo. What was the other one?
Far From Home, No Way Home, Homecoming, maybe?
Homecoming. That was it. That was the other. So I've been watching the porn versions of these Spider-Mans. They're quite good, actually. I do recommend them.
Well done. So I watched Spider-Man. Spider-Man has brought audiences back to the theater. This is like the first film since COVID that's actually made money like a film pre-COVID. And they're like, thank God for Spidey. Bless Spidey. Thank you. Praise be Marvel gods. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All the theaters are saying. Anyway, I watched it. It was pretty good. But I did notice a couple of things that I had some significant issues with. And these aren't really spoiler-centric at all. But, so it was cool. There's no doubt it was probably the second best Spider-Man next to the illustrious Spider-Man 2, the original. It was definitely a good watch. There was definitely some fun surprises in it. Although the whole concept, and this is not really a spoiler, but essentially, this is ridiculous, right? This is fucking stupid. Okay, this is the story. In the previous movie, Spider-Man's identity as Peter Parker is revealed. Now, we all remember that storyline from Iron Man and Batman and every other fucking superhero movie that eventually happens. But anyway, let's just move on from that. And so he's a teenager, right? But he's famous, and some people don't think that, they think that he killed the villain in the last one, but the villain was the hero, sort of thing. And so he's being vilified. And so he's like, he goes to a magician.
Okay.
Goes to a magician and goes, can you cast a magic spell on the world to make the world forget that I'm Spider-Man? Mm-hmm. Now, does that to you sound like a really well thought out, highbrow piece of Marvel cinema? Or do you think that's a fucking little kid scribbling little notes in his fucking thing at primary school going, hey, what if Spider-Man met a magician and he wished for the magician to forget he was Spider-Man? And the teacher goes, oh, they want to say that it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but they go, that's a great idea, Johnny. You've done really well for yourself. Here's a sticker for your work. And he walks home fucking proud as punch, and he's like, yeah. To me, that plot is fucking dumb.
Well, look, mate.
I mean, really, that's stupid.
They've all been stupid. Since the first Marvel movie. I've never seen a smart one.
You can't, but that's the problem. It's like there's been 30 and you've seen like 2.
No, I've seen a number more than 2.
But you've missed like some of the all of the good ones.
Well, I saw the Spider-Man that you're talking, the good Spider-Man, the good Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I've seen Superman movies. I've seen Spider-Man movies.
Legitimately,
yeah,
that was 20 years ago, Harley.
Well, it was a while ago. I gave up though because I was like, these movies are fucking the same. They're dumb. They're so dumb. They're just the same shit.
Spider-Man 2 was 20 years ago. That's the last Spider-Man you watched.
That was the last Spider-Man I watched.
So you can't really say whether or not.
No, but I can because I had seen a number of these kind of superhero films, and I was like, okay, this is the same shit. It's the same story again and again. You know, meet our hapless, unlikely hero. He goes through some hard times, learns he's got superpowers, and has a comedic bit where he's good with the superpowers, and then he has to have a fight with someone, and he gets his ass handed to him, and then he overcomes everything eventually, and he wins and gets the girl. You know, and it's like, and I was like, okay, cool, that was cool the first time I watched it, you know, when I was, you know, watching Disney movies and all sorts, you know, this wasn't even original when Marvel did it, and then they just did the same thing. They just took the same thing again, but changed the costumes, you know, so I was like, this is the same shit. It's just the same shit again, guys. You know, it's just like, crappy video, well, not crappy video games, but like when I was a kid, there was video games that were like, you know, really good that I enjoyed, you know, like say, I don't know, Streets of Rage, you know, like this kind of like...
Terrible game.
Streets of Rage was awesome. But then there was...
So one-dimensional.
But then there was also other sort of versions of Streets of Rage where it was the same side-scrolling thing. But the difference was that instead of having new enemies to fight, basically is you would beat a level and all the enemies would be blue. And then suddenly there would be a red enemy. And this red enemy was exactly the same except for red. And he was tougher. And then you would beat that, and then you get to the next level, and they're purple now. You know, it was just the same shit again and again. Well, that's what this is. They're just changing the costume. And that was what, when I was a kid, I was like, man, I hate it when games do this.
I mean, I have to disagree with you. Like, you are really talking about Marvel Phase 1.
Yeah. Now we're on, it's like the internet. Internet 3, Internet 2. That was Marvel 1. And I've skipped Marvel 2, and now we're heading into Marvel 3, are we?
Basically.
Yeah, okay.
So I do think that that criticism, while to some degree valid 20 years ago, maybe doesn't hold so much weight with some of the newer Marvel movies. Now, the thing about the Spider-Man is, apart from that stupid magician fucking thing, and some crazy...
Which reminds me of Big.
Some crazy logic of like, okay, I better not say anything about that, but
spoilers, don't say spoilers. I might watch it one day.
Well, you definitely won't watch it
now that you've told me.
Well, let's just say, how can I phrase this? Right, some villains come into the story, right?
Okay, and
rather than fuck them up and fuck them off, for some reason, Spider-Man's like, yeah, I'm going to help him. I'm going to help these murderers. I'm going to help these people that have murdered many people in their, whatever. I'm going to help these murdering people and cure them instead of fucking them up and fucking them off. And in doing so, creates some huge problems for himself. If you want to talk about being the architect of your own problems, like these anti-vaxxers, well, Spider-Man is the equivalent of an anti-vaxxer in this movie because he makes all his own problems over and over again. And then they kind of try and justify it at the end. But anyway, so that's one issue. My other issue with it is that they always have these post-credit scenes, right? And every single movie they have
Used to be
post-credit-
novel. Used to be
yeah.
novel. Used to be a novel thing. Now you're just waiting for the fucking credits to finish.
And so now it used to be one.
You
Now
need
it's
to piss. You
now
really need
it's
to
two.
piss. You need to piss, and you're like, oh god, I can't be fucked waiting for this.
So it's 2 credits. And
I never wait.
And the second credit, right?
I just piss my
the
pants.
second thing, and this is not any type of spoiler, but the second credit was like literally just a trailer. So
Right.
like before they used
Was it like an announcement trailer?
well, I guess so, but like before it used to be clever. Like, here is a way that this world interacts with another superhero's world in the universe, and how these two things are connected, and how these sets of events have set in motion another set of events. That's good. That's fine. That's smart. That's creates anticipation. That's cool. And I was like, cool. That's fine. And then the next one was literally just a fucking trailer for literally just a trailer, and I was like, okay, come on, you
Well,
can't.
for what film? Are you not allowed
The
to say?
next Doctor Strange movie.
Okay.
And it's like, you can't put a trailer
Yeah.
in the credits of your film that is just a little trailer for another movie. It has to be somehow connected.
Yeah.
And no, not because he was in that as well. Doctor Strange is the magician.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, no, like, you can't just run trailers in midpoints of your credits. That's batshit insane. That's not okay. You have to make more of an effort. There was definitely a way that you could have shot a scene that connects to this movie because he was in the fucking movie that could have easily set up the stuff with not being just a trailer. So I was very disappointed by that. And the other thing that I was disappointed by is that in the climactic battle, you know, where Spider-Man does battle with his foes, he keeps taking his mask off. Like, he's just always whipping it off. Take it off here, take it off there. To have a chat with someone, put it back on, did it. Off, on, like 500 times. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. Spider-Man wears his mask when he's Spider-Man. He doesn't take it on and off 500 times.
It's bad mask protocol, and they should really know that in this day and age.
You want to put some.
You put your mask on when you're talking to people.
Another
Not the
analogy
opposite.
with the anti-vaxxing. So all his problems are his own. They're all self-made. He could have avoided them all if he'd just listened to reason. Okay, right? And then he should be wearing his mask, like we all should be.
Yeah.
And obviously the reason that they did not do this is obviously when you have the mask on, you can't see emotion, you
Yeah.
can't see feelings. If Spider-Man's crying,
Yeah.
Peter Parker's crying, you don't know. Yeah. And that's the issue, is that, like, I understand why they did it, but they needed to find a better way. Like, sometimes the way they explain this is when he gets real beat up, it gets torn off in, like,
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
Spider-Man 2 and shit. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now we can see his eyes. That's fucking genius. But you can't just be whipping your fucking mask on and off, being like, hey, MJ, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm just in the middle of this fight. Hey, I'll put my mask back on. Yep, sweet, I'll see you later. Hey, my other guy. Hey, what are you doing? The mask off. Yeah, cool, let's have a chat. Okay, mask back on. Why don't you just keep it on? I know why, but be more inventive.
Yep.
Can't be mask on, mask off. And wear your mask, people. Wear your mask.
Wear your mask. Was my mate C. Robert Cargill working on that one?
I don't know. I don't know if he had anything to... I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
co-writer of the
Doctor
first one.
Strange.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not of the
Yeah, he
Spider-Man. Of the new Doctor Strange. You said the trailer.
Yeah. The Multiverse of Madness, it's called.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, well, these Marvel movies are a multiverse of madness. If you ask me, just throw it away, guys. Give it up. Like, imagine how many good films have not been made because of all these talented filmmakers, and all of this money that could have been going towards good original stories has been instead diverted towards this dumb popcorn.
Well, to
for
be
morons.
fair, I believe that Marvel funds their movies.
Right.
So there is no
So
money
they wouldn't
being
have
diverted.
done, I see, yeah. So they wouldn't have
Yeah.
funded a non-Marvel
No, they only make
thing
comic
anyway.
book shit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Marvel needs to expand.
Yeah,
Marvel
into
needs to start
non-comic
making art house films.
Yeah.
Marvel needs to make some art house films.
Well, they probably have a production company.
They need to
that
start
they
producing.
might do that type of thing. Yeah, I've got a couple of shout outs here. Which is, firstly, I just wanted to give a shout out to this is some feedback from Jason P. Diddy Combs. and he said that we were talking about getting solicited on the street last week about people approaching us for charities and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And he said that he wanted to share his own recent solicitation blow-off, which is, he goes, I'm usually good at avoiding the calls, but sometimes I have to answer an unknown caller.
Yeah.
So one caught me yesterday and started engaging with the engaging questions routine, leading with, have I caught you at a bad time? To which I responded, well, if it's bullshit, any time is a bad time.
Good answer.
Which threw her off her script, supposedly.
Genius.
But he gave her a second to recover and start her pitch. He doesn't remember what it was now, but he hung up with a no thanks, and he was quite proud of himself about that. And he also said he was a big fan of my nope, which is what I say when people go, hey man, do you like animals? Nope. Hey man, do you care about cancer ruining our community? Nope. Say up. Just don't engage. And then I've also got some Twitch shout outs here, which I owe to the Twitch followers who I missed this notification, so I haven't shouted them out yet. So shout outs to our Twitch followers go to VoltsGG, PS Friends Podcast, Roman Reports, and Mordecai Asarom, Black and Chrome Media. So those 5 Twitch shout outs there for those guys. So thank you so much for supporting the show. Those were people that actually paid us for those shout outs because they contributed via cheers on Twitch, which is a way of kind of throwing a few dollars or a few cents our way. So very much appreciate that.
It's time to wrap the things up.
Well, we better get ready for our party, right?
Getting hangry,
yeah. We better get ready for our party for sure. So I will have to wrap it up. Patreon.com/Pigville is the best way to support us. There's a whole bunch of links in the description if you would like to support us. All of those ways are a great way to do it. They help us keep the show live and keep us passionate and excited about it. So please do go down there. You can watch our films. There's links to watch our films. There's links to support us financially. There's links to check out our other YouTube channels. There's all sorts of links, and it's all in the description wherever you're listening. If you're listening to the audio only version, it's there as well. Well, unless you're listening on iTunes. If you're on iTunes, you have to go find the links. But yes, so yeah, please do go and support us there. And wherever you're watching right now, thank you Tyler Keith, who's just followed us on the Twitch. So shout out Tyler, do please hit thumbs up wherever you are. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet, and make sure you go and check out some of our other videos as well, because we are still working on getting that view time up, and it's quite a big long road ahead of us. Unfortunately, 3,000 hours. We need 3,000 hours worth of view time. But today we did have an average of 4 to 5 viewers on the show, and they've listened to 2 hours of us. So hey, that's 8 hours. It's 8 to 10 hours of our 3,000. But yes, we are back every Sunday at approximately 5 p.m. New Zealand time.
Yeah, I feel like that hours is the hard one. It's a real tricky one.
The view hours.
Yeah, the view
time.
hours.
Yeah, well, what it's really about is getting, just one video is enough. You just need one video that gets enough views, and that can be 4,000 hours, because you don't need 4,000 people necessarily. One person could watch 1 hour show 4,000 times if they wanted to. Tyler Keith, I'm looking in your direction. So if you could just go hit play on all of the episodes, all 4,000, you get 4,000 hours worth. But it is quite good, because you can just have, say, if 10 people watch.
Well, let's do the maths on this, right?
Okay.
So let's just say each show is an hour long, which is not really.
No.
But
it's longer, and that's a good thing.
But how many shows are on YouTube?
229.
Okay. So basically, each person that's listening to this, or like just our listeners in general.
Yeah, well, let's imagine there's 150 of them, right? The 5150.
Yeah. They all need to open up. Let's just be reasonable.
Yeah.
Open up 50 Chrome tabs.
Each. Yeah.
And play. And this will crash some people's computers, unfortunately.
And we're sorry about that, but
this is for the cause, okay?
This is a war of minds that we're fighting on the Guy and Harley podcast.
And don't listen to the same one. So open 50 new tabs with 50 episodes and hit play on them all, and mute on them
once.
all.
Yeah.
All right. And then do that twice.
Yeah.
So that means that every listener has done 100 hours.
Okay. Does it? Well, if there's 200
if they've done it twice.
Oh, I see, because you do 50 tabs.
Yeah. So 50 tabs and another 50 tabs once you've gone through that. Okay, so that's 100 tabs.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got 150 followers.
Okay, so
So if they all do that, they've all watched 100 hours worth.
Yeah.
Then 150 times 100 is 15,000. We would well and truly be over our 4,000 hours.
So really we just need like 40 people to do it, right?
Yeah. Or, I mean, the other thing too is that people can watch it. Like there is a playlist on YouTube. You go to YouTube and you go to our YouTube channel. You hit playlists and there's a playlist there
But
called...
it's faster if they open the 50 tabs.
No, it's true. It just seems a little unreasonable. It seems unlikely that they'll do that.
Unless it's only measured, it doesn't measure that watch time,
Unless you're
like
on the
separately.
tab or
Like it only measures it like it was just like the equivalent of a few.
I don't think so. I think it would measure.
So
each
open 50
individual
tabs, do it. It's easy.
Or if that doesn't work for you in your computer,
No, of course it does. Look,
then
who cares about how much bandwidth we've all got unlimited now.
Well, but the other thing you do, right, is you go to YouTube, you go to the Guy and Harley podcast, you go to the playlist tab, and there's a list there, every episode of the podcast ever. You can hit play, and look,
in 50 tabs.
We would never suggest you do this, but you could mute it and you could walk away. And it could play all 229 episodes.
Yeah, we're not because we know you already listen to these all, so you don't have to listen to them again. You just want to put them all
you audio-only people.
50 tabs on YouTube. So that's genius, my idea. Look, I've got like 12 or 13 tabs open right now.
Yeah, and how many of them are the Guy and Harley podcast?
Just one.
Oh, right. Yeah. All right. Well, look. On that note, we better get out of here because we've got to get ready for a party. We've got to get out and have some exciting stories for the next episode.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really anticipating this being an hour.
Oh yeah. I'm quite tired.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'd like to try some of these fancy cocktails.
Yeah.
And then I'm fucking out.
Yeah. Well, there's food there too.
I'm fucking off.
Yeah. All right, well, facebook.com/Guy and Harley, go check us out, and patreon.com/Pigville and youtube.com/Pigville and the number 2, and all the links in the description down below, and we will catch you next week on the Guy and Harley podcast.
I'm not going to make the same mistake Spider-Man did.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in, I'm going to fuck up the villains, and I'm going to fuck them the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you're going to fuck up the cocktails.
And then I'm going to fuck the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So, see you later.